Students, in previous lecture we have seen group order of group and order of an element. Now in this lecture we will see the theorem which is let G be a group and A belongs to G, then A raised to n is identity if and only if order of A divides n. Okay, so we will prove this theorem. So what we have given? GBA group. So if GBA group means what? G satisfy all four properties. First one is closeness, second one is associativity, third one is existence of identity, and last and fourth one which is existence of inverse. Okay, and what we have given? A be the element which is from group G such that A raised to n is equal to identity. A raised to n is equal to identity we have given. So if and only if order of A divides n, means we have to show that order of A must divides n. Okay, so we will prove this. Suppose, so this is proved by two ways. Means what? In first things or first part we have to show that if A raised to n is equal to identity, then we have to show that order of A divides n, and in second part if we have order of A divides n, then we will show that A raised to n must be identity. So the proof is what we have given. So I will assume that A raised to n is equal to identity, and so suppose A raised to n is identity, and I will assume A raised to n is equal to identity, and I will suppose order of A, and so I will take and m be the least positive integer with the least positive integer, m be the least positive integer such that order of A is equal to m. Okay, means I have taken m is the least positive integer such that order of A is equal to m. Okay, and what we have assumed here, A raised to n is equal to identity. Okay, so I will apply division algorithm between m and n. So here order of A divides m means what? So order of A I have assumed it is m, and m divides n means what? Here m divides n means what? Between this m and n must be greater or equal m. Okay, so I will apply division algorithm between m and n. So we will divide n by m. So here by division algorithm there exists an integer q and r. There exists an integer q and r such that how it exists. So we will apply division algorithm between n and m. So n when divided by m, then there exists quotient q and remainder r, and value of r is 0 less than equal to m and less than this is value of r, so 0 less than equal to r, which is less than m. Okay, so I will write it as for value of r. So therefore r is equal to, I will get n minus m into q. Okay, so I will take base a on both sides. So what will happen? So a raised to r is equal to a raised to n minus m into q. Okay, so a raised to r is equal to a raised to n minus mq. So I will separate this right side. So a raised to n into a raised to minus m into q. So it can be written as a raised to n into a raised to m raised to minus q. Okay, so what we have assumed here, a raised to n is equal to identity, and m is the smallest positive integer such that order of a is equal to m. Order of a is equal to m means what? a raised to m should be identity. Okay, so a raised to m identity, and here a raised to n again identity. Okay, so here a raised to n identity, and here a raised to m is again identity. Okay, so here identity raised to minus q. So if I take identity raised to any power, then again I get identity. So which is equal to identity into identity, so which is product of two identity element is again identity. Means what? Here a raised to r is equal to identity. So why this happened? So here n is equal to m into q plus r, and value of r is 0 less than equal to r less than strictly less than m. Okay, so what we have assumed here? We have assumed that m is the least positive integer. M is what we have taken? M is least positive integer. Okay, and apart from that, r is again least. Okay, such that I get a raised to r is equal to identity. Means what? This is the contradiction to our assumption. Means what? Value of r must be 0. But here, m is least positive integer. M be least positive integer. Least positive integer. Least positive integer such that m is least positive integer such that a raised to m is equal to identity. What we have assumed here? M is the least positive integer such that a raised to m is equal to identity, and here what we get? So here value of m, so r is less than m, and we have assumed that m is least positive integer. Means what? R should be 0. Therefore, hence r will be 0. So r is equal to 0. Substitute this value r in equation number 1. So equation number 1 becomes, therefore equation 1 implies that, so r is equal to 0. Substitute this in equation 1. We will get n is equal to m into q. So n is equal to m into q means what? By using definition, what we get? N is equal to m into q. By definition of divisibility, we will get m divides n. M divides n means what? So m is, what is m? M is order of a and n. So which implies that order of a divides n. Therefore order of a divides n. So this proves first part. Now next we have to prove second part. Means what? If we assume order of a divides n, then we have to show that a raised to n must be an identity element. Okay, so let's see converse part. Conversely, suppose that order of a divides n, then what happens? So order of a means what? M. Okay, means what? M divides n. Then what will we get? N is equal to m into k for some k belongs to set of integers. For some k belongs to set of integers. Okay, so n is equal to m into k. So if I take base a on both sides, so what happens? Therefore we will get a raised to n is equal to a raised to m k. Okay, so which is equal to, so what is value up, what we have? Since m divides n and m is the order of a. Okay, so a raised to m into k is equal to, what will we get? We have order of a is m, means what? A raised to m raised to k. Since a raised to m is equal to what? Identity. So we have the value of this. So we get identity raised to any positive integer, which is again identity. Means what? A raised to n will be identity. Hence, so this is the converse part. Means what? If we have we have assumed order of a divides n, then finally I get a raised to n is equal to identity. So this proved the converse part. So this is the proof of given theorem. Means what? Here G be the group and A be the elements of that group, and a raised to n is identity. And if and only if order of a divides n, we have proved this theorem in two parts. In first part, we have assumed a raised to n is equal to identity, and we have taken smallest positive integer m such that a raised to m is equal to identity. Means what? Order of a is equal to identity, and we have proved order of a divides n. And in second part, we have seen we have taken order of A divides n. In that case, we have proved A raised to n is equal to identity. Okay, now next we'll see one more example. Let G be group and A be the elements of group G, then order of A is same as order of A inverse. That is, order of an element and inverse is same. That is, order of an element is same as, and its inverse is same. So we have to prove this result. So here order of A, we have to show order of A and order of A inverse will be same. Now, so see the solution. What we have given, G be the group and A be an element of that group. So let us assume that order of A is equal to m. Then what happened? We have assumed order of A is equal to m. Means what? That is, A raised to m will be identity. Okay. So now so I will consider A raised to minus m. So A inverse raised to m is equal to, what happened? A inverse raised to m. So it can be written as A raised to m raised to minus 1. So I will interchange this. So A raised to m inverse. So what is value of A raised to m? So we have assumed A raised to m is again identity. So identity inverse. Then we know that inverse of an any identity element is again identity. So A inverse raised to m is again identity. So both A inverse raised to m identity and A raised to m is again identity. Means what? Therefore, so what we say? Hence order of A inverse must be less than equal to order of A. So replacing A by A inverse, then what will we get? Now replacing A by A inverse in this equation. So what will happen? So if I replace this A by A inverse, so if I replace A by A inverse, so A inverse and inverse again will get A. So order of A will less than equal to order of A inverse. So from these two equations, so what will happen? Therefore, from above two equations, we get finally order of A is same as order of A inverse. Hence the proof. Okay, so order of an element and its inverse will be same. Now, next is very important. So very important part, which is subgroup. We have seen in previous chapter the definition of groups. Okay, now in this lecture we are going to see the next definition, subgroups. So what is meant by subgroups? So in previous chapter we have seen definition of groups. So what is definition of groups? Let G be a non-empty set, and if we say that G under binary operation star is said to form groups if it satisfies the following four properties. First one is closeness property. Second one is abelian group, associativity property. And third one is existence of identity. And last one is existence of inverse. Okay, if all these four properties satisfy, then we say that G under binary operation star forms a group. Okay, and next we have seen abelian group, and if it satisfies, if any two elements from groups it satisfy property A star B is equal to B star A, then we say that it forms abelian group. Okay, now we will see next definition, subgroup. So what is meant by subgroup? So see the definition. Let H be subset of group G. First, H will be subset of group G. and if H itself forms group, and if H itself forms a group, H itself forms group under same operation of G, under same operation of G, then we say that H is subgroup of G. Then H is called as subgroup of G. H is called subgroup of G. So this is the definition for subgroup. Means what? Here H be first non-empty subset of group G, and if H itself forms group under same operation, means H satisfies all four properties of group, then we say that H is subgroup of G under same binary operation G. Okay, so this is the definition of subgroup, and the notation for H is subgroup of G is, and we write H is subgroup of G, H is subgroup of G as H subgroup of G. So this is the notation for H is subgroup of G. Also observe that identity and G are always subgroup of G. Identity and G are always subgroups of G. Okay, so always remember this, identity element and G itself are always subgroups. Okay, so these are called improper subgroup of G, and these identity and G are called, and these are called improper subgroup. These are called improper subgroup of G. Okay, so these are called improper subgroup of G. If a subgroup H is proper subset, if subgroup H is proper subset, if subgroup is proper subset, then we say that subset of G. H is proper subset of G, and H is not equal to identity, then we say that it is called proper subgroup of G. Proper subgroup. H is proper subset of G, then H is called proper subgroup of G. Then H is called proper subgroup of G. Proper subgroup of G. So this is the definition for subgroup. Okay, so let's see the definition. Observe that identity and G is always subgroup of G, and these are called improper subgroup, and subgroup H is proper subset of G, then it is called proper subgroup of group G. Now we will see examples on subgroup. So see the examples on subgroup. Example, we have seen R forms group under addition. R forms group under addition. R forms group under addition. Also subset Z of R. Also subset Z of real number R forms group under addition. Forms group under addition. Forms group under addition operation. Hence means what? Here first Z is subset of R, and Z forms group under addition, means what? Z under addition is subgroup of R under addition. So hence what we say, Z under addition is subgroup of R under addition. Also the set Q under addition rational number. Also set of rationals, set of rational numbers, set of rationals, so denoted by Q under addition operation is subgroup of R under addition. Okay, so here we see that since so Z is what? Z is subset of rational number and which is subset of real number. Means what? So Z is, we say that Z is subgroup of Q. Again Z is subgroup of R. So operation is addition here, and again Q is subgroup of R. But here we see we know that but we have natural number is subset of set of integer, but so under operation addition so but natural number under addition is not subgroup of Z under addition. Because what? Because natural number addition is not forms subgroup. Okay, because natural number under addition do not forms group. Why it is not form group? Because existence of identity element, there does not exist identity element. Because since in natural number, since 0 does not belongs to, so 0 is equal to identity. So since identity which is equal to 0 does not belongs to natural number, that's why it does not forms groups. Means what? Natural number under addition is not subgroup of Z under addition, or natural number under addition is not subgroup of any subset Z under addition, Q under addition, or R under addition. Okay, so it is not forms group. Means what? Here natural number under addition is not subgroup of any other group. Okay, so this is the examples. Now let's see one more examples. The set H, I will take 1 minus 1, is subgroup of G is equal to 1 minus 1 I minus I. So here first observe that here H is subset of G, then H itself forms group, then we say that H will be the subgroup of G. Okay, so here operation will be multiplication, because here in this group we have element 1 minus 1 I minus I. Means what? Operation will be multiplicative. So under multiplication okay, so here H is subgroup of G because H itself forms group. Because here if I take composition table, so then what happens? So H is equal to 1 minus 1, then after multiplication table, so here 1 minus 1, 1 minus 1, so 1 into 1 will be 1, 1 into minus 1 will be minus 1. Next minus 1 into 1 minus 1, minus 1 into minus 1 will be plus 1. Okay, so all the entries in this table are again from H. So first closeness property satisfy, because all the entries in table are from H. Since all the entries from table from all the entries in dotted table are from H, right? So these are all 1 minus 1 minus 1 1 which is in H. Next, second, associativity will be satisfied. Associativity is also satisfied, because if I take any three elements, suppose 1 minus 1 1, then if I take multiplication of these two and again this with this is same as, so if I take A star B star C is equal to A star B star C, means this property is satisfied. So this means what? H is associative. Okay, so if I take 1 into minus 1 into 1, so which is same as, so it is multiplication will be 1, and 1 minus 1 into 1, so its multiplication is again 1. So LHS and RHS will be equal, means associativity property satisfied. And next, existence of identity. So what is the identity element? 1 is the identity element, because here third, for all A belongs to H, so 1 into A is equal to A, so 1 is identity element. Okay, 1 is identity element. And inverse of each element is itself. And fourth one, for all A belongs to A belongs to H, A inverse also belongs to H. So element, so if I take A 1, then what will be its inverse? So if I take 1, so we know that the definition A into B is equal to identity, then we say that B is the inverse of A. Okay, so if what element, if I multiply 1 by 1, then we will get identity element. So inverse of 1 will be 1. If I take inverse, if I take element A, then what will be the inverse of minus 1? So when I get identity element, when minus 1 will multiply by minus 1, so inverse of minus 1 will be minus 1. So all the four properties satisfy, so H itself forms group. Therefore all four properties satisfy, all four properties are satisfied, means what? H under operation multiplication is itself forms group, means what? H under multiplication is subgroup of G under multiplication. Okay, so this proves that H is subgroup of G, because H itself forms group, right? Okay, we will stop here. In next lecture, we will see one step subgroup test to satisfy H is subgroup of G. Thank you.